Welcome to the Dan River Basin Association's 11th year celebration, and what a year it was. So let's take a journey through the basin, from the headwaters to Halifax, and see what our staff has been up to this year. Our first staff report comes to us from Anna Wallace. Anna was born in Patrick County, Virginia, and she attended Virginia Tech, where she was part of the Earth Sustainability Program and graduated with a bachelor's degree in humanities, science, and the environment. After college, she spent a year traveling in the American West and living in Portland, Oregon. In 2011, she moved back to Patrick County and began work as an intern with DRBA. In 2012, Anna began working part-time and continues to produce amazing results as a valuable team member working in Stokes, Patrick, and Henry County. A recreational use plan is currently under development in Patrick County. An inventory of existing recreation amenities and natural resources was compiled, and DRBA held public input meetings to gather feedback for inventory and to introduce the planning effort. The plan is currently in draft form and is being vetted by stakeholders throughout the community. Dan River Basin partnered with Patrick County and the town of Stuart to assist in the planning and implementation of Phase 2 of the Mayo River Rail Trail in Stuart. DRBA has been working with the Landmark Group in Stuart to develop a trail that would connect the current Mayo River Trail with Blue Ridge Nursing Home and Pioneer Hospital. This trail has been embraced as the new route for Phase 2 of the Mayo River Rail Trail. A Stream Team summer camp was held in partnership with the Virginia Museum of Natural History. DRBA also partnered with the town of Stuart on the Apple Dumpling 5K race held in Stuart. There were 60 participants in the race, and proceeds went to trail building efforts in Patrick County. A partnership with the Piedmont Regional Triad Council helped develop the Dan River Basin Watershed Assessment. This plan addresses the rate and nature of water impairment in the basin and prioritizes areas in need of restoration or conservation effort. In 2012, DRBA held 2 litter cleanup events in Patrick County. The Blue Ridge Regional Library in Stuart hosted a DRBA display for the month of October, and Your Local Watershed was the presentation given to 3 high school science classes at Patrick County High School. A DRBA club was started at Patrick County High School and has 27 members. Currently, they are collecting recyclable e-waste through Funding Factory to raise money for their service project, a water quality monitoring station on the South Mayo. The students will also tour a sustainably developed farm and learn about agricultural best management practices and renewable energy systems. For their spring outing, the DRBA Club plans to go on a paddling trip in the basin. DRBA is working with the Patrick County Tourism Advisory Council to develop an official Patrick Outdoor Recreation logo and signage design scheme, which will be used in county promotional material and for any future signage related to public use and recreation facilities. In Stokes County, North Carolina, students from the Service Club at Germantown Elementary School experienced a macroinvertebrate hunt on a small creek near their school. A river access sign was installed at Moortalk Park, and we began exploring the feasibility of developing a river access adjacent to Jessup's Mill on the Dan River. At this time, we would like to say a huge thank you to Wayne and Betty Kirkpatrick. Their love for our land and our community is evident in their tireless efforts in Patrick County. They are definitely 2 of the Dan River Basin's invaluable natural resources. Our next report comes from Krista Hodges, Education and Outreach Coordinator in Martinsville, Henry County. Krista grew up in Danville, Virginia, and attended Averett University, where she completed a bachelor's degree in biology with a focus in environmental studies and ecology, and a minor in English literature. Krista began her career with DRBA in 2010 and is currently responsible for education and outreach, including the largest Trout in the Classroom program in the nation. Krista loves being a part of the DRBA family, and her favorite part of the work is getting kids excited about nature and science. She lives in Rocky Mount, Virginia with one husband and 2 dogs. They enjoy raising chickens, gardening, and currently are attempting to start a small blueberry orchard. Her favorite outdoor activity is taking the dogs hiking in the woods or out in a canoe on Philpott Lake with her husband Jared. Trout in the Classroom wrapped up its 7th season with releases in April and May. Congressman Morgan Griffith, Congressman Robert Hurt, Colonel Baker of the U.S. Army Corps of Engineers, and Henry County School Board Superintendent Dr. Jared Cotton were just a few of the special guests at the releases. In 2011 and 2012, rainbow trout were raised in the program for the first time in addition to brown trout. A new release site for trout was at Jacks Creek Covered Bridge on the Upper Smith River, and the TIC curriculum was coordinated with the Virginia Standards of Learning Guidelines. We began the 8th season of Trout in the Classroom with a record 38 tanks in 34 educational institutions in Henry, Patrick, Franklin, Pennsylvania, and Rockingham counties. Krista dedicated over 25 hours to Trout in the Classroom presentations in area schools. An art contest was held for Let's Clean Up Our Act Henry County in partnership with Henry County and Henry County Public Schools, and the TIC program obtained national recognition for DRBA on River Network's Watershed News Stories. Streamside Trees in the Classroom was a successful partnership with the U.S. Army Corps of Engineers. We participated in Earth Day and the Stream Team Summer Camp in partnership with the Virginia Museum of Natural History, and the Smith River Cleanup was a huge success while work continued on grants from the Department of Environmental Quality and Keep Virginia Beautiful. Next, I would like to introduce Nancy Bell, our Staff Resource Director, or as we like to call her, the Grant Whisperer. Nancy was born in Deep Creek, raised in Bennett's Creek, and currently resides in Snow Creek. A true Creek freak. She has a BA in journalism and a 16-year career as a journalist who morphed into a grant writer, project manager, fundraiser, so forth and so on. Nancy truly paddles many boats for DRBA. Nancy has helped secure millions of dollars in funding for a variety of great causes and was honored to receive Nonprofit Leader of the Year award in 2010. She has spent more than a decade of summers digging dino bones in the Badlands of Wyoming and learned to kayak at the ripe young age of 50. Nancy co-founded Boys and Girls Clubs of the Blue Ridge and was awarded Citizen of the Year status by the Martinsville Police Department. Her family received a 10-year service award for having foster children in their home for 10 consecutive years in the 1990s. She is a mother of 4 great 20-somethings and 10 dogs of various sizes and breeds. Nancy says that ending up in the DRBA family was inevitable. She loves the people and their pets and has had the opportunity to visit pristine natural settings across the basin, to learn every day, and she enjoys meeting the best and brightest people in her travels throughout the basin. Nancy provides us with a quick 2012 grant roundup. A $10,000 Make It Happen grant was used to liberate an urban stream in Danville. A $66,000 grant was received for Adventure Center planning to determine the feasibility of developing retail opportunities that could provide critical operating funds for a nonprofit. A $5,000 grant from outdoor retailer REI is being used to develop a volunteer program. A $65,000 Z. Smith Reynolds Foundation grant is being used to create a fundraising infrastructure to support DRBA when future grants expire. A Keep Virginia Beautiful grant provided funds for the Smith River cleanup and a terrific project to raise awareness of the litter problem in Martinsville and Henry County. A Yes Martinsville grant provided for outreach marketing, and the Reedsville Area Foundation provided multiple grants to DRBA in 2012 for trail building and support. For those of you who may not know her, I would like to introduce the real backbone of the Dan River Basin Association. Robin Light is the DRBA Office Accounting Manager, and she truly is the duct tape that holds it all together. She's been our financial Mrs. Fix-It since 2009. Robin grew up on a small tobacco farm in Rockingham County, and she says she inherited her love of the land from her dad. She was actually an assistant cotton buyer at Spray Mills back before it closed in the same building where the DRBA offices are located today. Robin quietly goes about her daily activities, keeping up with the books for DRBA and making a seemingly impossible job look easy. She is the gentle house mother riding herd on a bunch of unruly kids that have no idea what it actually takes to keep the books for a nonprofit organization. I don't think there's anything that can ruffle her feathers, even at the end of the month when she politely reminds us to please get our expense reports and timesheets to her by the requested date. She manages to remain calm as we try to explain that we lost the invoice or the receipt that she needs to close the books for the month, or how the dog ate our timesheets and that's why we were late getting them turned in. Robin says that for her leisure activity, nothing is more calming than taking your dogs for a walk near a creek. I have to believe that Robin needs a lot of very long walks after the end of each month with this crew. From the rest of the staff at DRBA, thank you, Robin, for all you do. Our next report comes from Chad Hall. Chad is the program manager for Caswell County and is proud to be a North Carolina native. He grew up on a small, self-sufficient farm in Tobaccoville and has lived in North Carolina ever since. Chad studied architecture at UNC Charlotte and has practiced urban design and planning for over 15 years. He is in fact the designer of record for over 40 neighborhoods in the U.S., including several mixed-use neighborhoods. Chad has been with DRBA since 2009. He has one dog, Wilson, that he rescued 3 years ago. And in his spare time, Chad loves to hike, golf, and play guitar. Serving Caswell County with a grant from the Danville Regional Foundation was Chad's goal for 2012, and he did an outstanding job, featuring various trail expansions, programs, planning for trailheads, and signage. DRBA worked with a variety of other organizations with common goals and visions. Chad also completed the driving tour and master plan. Trailhead and wayfinding signage will be installed in the near future, just in time for springtime walks. The 1 Mile Orchard Lake Trail was completed, connecting the Caswell County Senior Center to Yoder's Market. Chad also expanded the Sunline Trail system by 1 mile via 2 volunteer trail building days. DRBA worked closely with NCDOT on a bridge replacement to ensure adequate room for trails underneath. We also worked with Piedmont Land Conservancy to identify contributing areas along Colonial Heritage Scenic Byway in Caswell County, and hosted the first annual River Days Festival at Farmer Lake in June. A scavenger hunt was held at Maud Gatewood Park with Caswell County Elementary Schools. DRBA also hosted a member hike and a Tales on Trails event in May. Planned and designed the Sunline Trails parking area and trailhead. Also signage design was completed. The Caswell County Heritage Driving Tour was completed, and the Caswell County Heritage Trails Master Plan. Our next report comes from Rockingham Program Manager Jenny Edwards. Jenny grew up on Roanoke Island at the very end waters of the Dan River Basin, where her parents made a living fishing, crabbing, and building housing for local tourists who came each season as reliable as the tides. Jenny spent countless hours on the shores of, but mostly in, Croatan Sound, and running the piney backwoods with her little sister and their fearless protector, a dog named Corky. Fate is what she calls the crooked path that led her to DRBA, where she contributes to the care of the forest and the rivers that feed the place of her wild and rare childhood. Today, she is still prone to wander in the woods with her 2 dogs, a blind Aussie and a little red border collie, who recently joined her pack thanks to Rockingham County Animal Shelter. And now, here's Jenny's Rockingham County Staff Report. Jenny worked on the Model Forest Policy Program. Rockingham County was chosen as one of the 4 communities nationwide to participate in Climate Solutions University for 2012-2013. The Dan River Basin Association led the planning process. The plans included the impact of extreme weather at nexus of economy, forest, and rivers. The plan received input from forestry, local governments, business and technology, outdoor enthusiasts, water and soil, agricultural, economic development, and the North Carolina Department of Energy and Natural Resources Climate Initiative. Forest and rivers adaptation planning for Rockingham County included assessing risks to and vulnerabilities of Rockingham County's economy, forest, and rivers from impact of extreme weather. Major risks were identified, such as severe droughts and the impact on forest canopy and health. Health issues including respiratory elements, heat stroke and deaths, higher food prices and food scarcity, more extreme storms, increasing flooding dangers, and potential flood hazards on coal ash ponds and failing old farm ponds. The goals of the plan were to prepare Rockingham County to ensure ample water for households, institutions, businesses, and wildlife, to ensure an abundance of diverse, well-managed forest and other agricultural for financial and food security, and to minimize the loss of life and property during extreme weather events. Jenny also worked on Rockingham County Pathways Plan for Recreational Trails. The Pathways Master Plan for Recreational Trails assures Rockingham County a place in regional planning for trails. It identifies 8 priority trails, 3 of which are already in progress, and creates a partnership with Piedmont Triad Regional Council. Thanks to Jenny and Krista Hodges and some generous donors, the award-winning Trout in the Classroom program is now in Rockingham County schools. Stoneville Elementary, Leaksville Spray, Draper Elementary, Moss Street Elementary all have tanks. There are plans to expand to every elementary school in Rockingham County. A quote from Principal June Neely: "My students, most of them because of poverty, 83% of our students qualify for free or reduced lunch, have not even had the experiences in life that other children have. And the trout tank, that levels the playing field a little bit for those students." Just take a look at all the funders and partners listed below. It's their support that allows DRBA to continue preserving and promoting the treasures of the Dan River Basin in Rockingham County. Our final report comes to you from me, Brian Williams, Program Manager in Martinsville and Henry County, and I promise to keep it brief. I was born across the Tennessee River outside of Knoxville and have lived in several states throughout the Southeast. I am married to Patty Williams, and we have 1 daughter and 3 delightful grandchildren. Arriving in Virginia in 2006, I became a volunteer coordinator for the Trout in the Classroom program established by Dr. David Jones. I have been a member of the DRBA family since 2008 and have worked closely with local and state governments and nonprofit organizations on a wide variety of conservation, restoration, and education projects. I spend much of my time in the development of the Smith River Trail System and constantly search for any excuse to get outside and away from my computer. I enjoy photography, fly fishing, hiking, paddling, caving, and just about anything outdoors. It was a very busy year for DRBA staff. We saw new partnerships formed, new grants obtained, old projects completed, and new projects begun. I would personally like to thank all the staff for their tireless energy and the dedication to the mission of the Dan River Basin Association. We would also like to thank the entire DRBA family, board, members, and volunteers. It was a great year for new trail openings. We had the Rock Ridge Trail at the Beaver Creek Reservoir, Lauren Mountain Preserve, the Textile Heritage Trail, and the Silver Bell Trail. The 5th annual Smith River Fest was a huge success this year with over 1,300 visitors. We had, in addition to the River Fest this year, the Helgramite Hustle Mud Run. That was a real fun mess. We made some great connections at River Rally in Portland, Oregon this year, including the president of Bridgestone Tire, who agreed to take all our tires that we cleaned up out of the Smith River. I don't know if he realized what he was in for, but we did clean over 690 tires out of the river, and Bridgestone took every single one of them. We had some fantastic volunteers and interns with us in 2012, including Hank Moore and Phil Wingstrom, who did a variety of jobs from sign installation to trail repair. Anna Wallace started as an intern, and you've already seen how fantastic she is. Montana Young did some beautiful sign design for us and even wrote the score to our Dan River Basin Association promo video. We had a very successful Smith River cleanup with over 200 volunteers cleaning 30 miles of river in one day. The Henry County Board of Supervisors passed the Smith River Resolution recognizing the river for its economic potential for Henry County and supporting the effort to obtain more consistent water flow from Philpott Lake. So we ask you as you leave here today to remember the measure of a community is in how they protect their natural and cultural resources. You never value something quite so much as when you lose it. I know with the commitment and energy in the DRBA family, we won't have to worry about ever getting to that point. So on behalf of the DRBA staff, thank you for your vision and support in 2012, and we're certainly looking forward to a fantastic 2013.